Well, in about 71 days from now, millions of Nigerians will head to the polls to not only elect a new president, but also members of the National Assembly. Now, so far, the spotlight has been on the presidential candidates. Here on the HQ, we've been trying to speak to candidates who are going all out to represent the people in terms of representative democracy. The question that we've been asking Nigerians is how prepared are they? And how well do you know your candidates or those who will be representing you at the Nigeria's National Assembly? Joining me tonight on Politics HQ, Abdulwaheed Odunuga. He's the new Nigeria People's Party House of Representatives candidate for Kosofe Federal Constituency in Lagos, Nigeria's southwest region. Good to see you, Abdulwaheed, and thanks for your time. So how is it going for you?
Fine. Well, thank you for the invite, and good evening, Nigerians. Good evening, Lagosians.
Let's start by talking about your party, the NNPP, New Nigeria People's Party. What can you say to Nigerians? Because that's the first time your party is going into a major election.
Yes. The party has been a party of ideology, and that is one of the things that actually attracted me to the party, because Nigerians are tired of the ruling party and the opposition, the major opposition. And by the time I decided to contest, we see that one of the best parties we can actually join is the New Nigerian People's Party, and that is based on the presidential candidate of the party, what he has done in Kano, his level of integrity in quotes, and the hope that we had for Nigeria that with such kind of a party, Nigeria will be a better place.
You know, you're in Lagos, and Lagos is the commercial hub of Nigeria. Yes. And quite frankly, Nigeria's ruling party's candidate is also from your state. And by and large, his influence will definitely be felt by other candidates. How is the campaign going for you when you go out to speak to your constituents, people around your constituency? What's the message you get from them? Are they excited about NNPP?
Very, very excited. And honestly speaking, in Kosofe, I'm not talking about that place, but in Kosofe, the message is very clear about the people, from the people. The so-called party has been rejected. That does not mean we have been accepted. That means we have to do more for the people to accept us. And based on what we've done so far in the community services, empowerment in terms of education, health service, free health service, and resolution of community issues. We are not a new name in the community. So with that alone, the people actually trust us and they believe in us. With that, I think we don't have major problem. And when it comes to funding too, that will have been a major challenge for us. I begin to understand that it is when you are not popular, when you are trying to impose yourself on the people, that is when you spend much. In our own case, we spend little, and the little we spend actually contribution from people,
because Abdulwaheed, I was going to go there. Nigeria's politics is still soaked, in money, and that is why just recently the CBN's policy of withdrawal policy, some political parties are already saying it was going to cause some kind of bottleneck in terms of logistics as they move towards the general election. But your political party isn't one of those asking CBN to give them a waiver.
No, it's not. I'm not aware of that. To me, I actually believe in such policy. We are long overdue to have such policy in place. Those who are crying are people who want to buy votes during the election date. So why should I be bothered about such policies? I am not bothered about it, and I don't think it's going to affect the elections or campaign. I don't think
Nigerians are asking for change, genuine change. And seeing your first time in politics and aspiring to become the representatives of the people, there must be something that they see in you in the first place to be listening to you. Perhaps, if you don't mind, let's take a moment to look at the qualities that your people may have seen, to the extent that they said, let's give the ticket to Abdulwaheed.
Well, I've been an honest man. I've been a student of the Ghanaian Primary School of Thought. I've fought a lot of battle. I've been a good governance advocate and anti-corruption ambassador, always fighting bad governance in the state and especially in my community. So I'm not new to the people in the society, and they believe if such person can be elected, they will have a lot of changes. In my local government, I don't think there's anybody that has criticized constituency projects more than I do. I monitor constituency projects. I think since 2007, I've been monitoring constituency projects, and I ensure those constituency projects are being executed. I'm a kind of person, I say the truth to whoever is in power. I say even those things, if those things were affecting at the end of the day, I will say it the way they are. And fortunately for me, the trust they have in me, I don't think I even have that trust in my that's
overwhelming.
Yes.
But constituency project, it's one aspect that Nigerians and even the media and civil society have said looks like a conduit for corruption. Speak to us about your understanding of constituency projects to the extent that you think that your fight in the past would actually mean better representation for the people in terms of such projects.
Yes, in fact, I don't think I have any issues with constituency projects, but my issues with them it is the processes. And aside from the process, they ask the representative, whether it is the Senate or the House of Rep, the Procurement Act you need to be looking into. Because honestly speaking, you don't expect an House of Rep member or senator that carry out oversight function to also nominate a project. At the end of the day, they collaborate with what we find out in the last 14, 15 years. They're always collaborating with the head of agencies, the contractors. And at the end of the day, they will tell you, no, I'm not in charge. I don't collect money. But the truth is they collect kickbacks from these contractors. How do you explain an House of Rep member that will oversee a Ministry of Agriculture, an agency under agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and the same agency is buying yard dressing and sewing machine? What business do they have got to do with that? What business does, what is it called, Islamic Board, Institute of Islamic Studies, got to do with the supply of books to schools, not Islamic schools? But because most of those agencies are being supervised by these honorable members of the House. So it is not a bad idea to have constituency project, but the processing. And unfortunately, the worst part of it, it is the so-called empowerment program. To me, I see it as fraud. And I always tell people, anytime you see us of rep or senator,
so you think empowerment program is fraudulent?
Yes, very fraudulent. More than 70% are not being executed.
Do the people also think that way? Because we've seen people giving tricycles, rickshaw and some other, things to actually make them eke a living. So at the end of the day, how do you convince those people, especially the beneficiaries, that, this is a fraudulent means of actually shortchanging the community?
That is the problem we're having in the system. It's just like a man that stole 13,000 naira from 10 people. That's 100,000, and he ended up giving 2 of them 15,000. Those 2 will be happy, and they'll continue to pass that message of hope of the man has performed. But the truth is, he has not done anything. And that's the message we've been telling people. The question we should be asking these people is, how much is the budget for these items? How much was budgeted? It is an open document. It is just that our people are not just doing what they are meant to be doing. It is when you compare what is being budgeted, how much was released, and what is on ground, that is when you can say this so person has actually done what is meant to have done. And unfortunately, especially in Lagos, I don't think we are not getting the best of this so-called empowerment program. Because if those empowerment programs have actually achieved what they are meant to achieve, we will have been talking less, or the level of poverty will have reduced. In Lagos today, from record, almost millions of people have been empowered. Is it showing that those people have been empowered? Even those empowerment, are they sustainable? It's just like a case of you give somebody an Okada, a bike, And the following day, task force collected the bike from that person. I've witnessed constituency projects and empowerment programs where people are being given sewing machine, and they were not tailors or fashion designer. And the next person was asking, what will you do with it? He said, I'm going to sell it. And at the end of the day, so what is worth almost 70,000 will be sold out at 25,000. The nation is losing, the person is also losing. At the end of the day, you've not empowered anybody. So I think we need to look into those empowerment programs. I've said in the North, in the last 5 years, I think their constituency project is more reasonable compared to what we're having in the Southwest.
Let's speak more about Lagos. This is one state that many would say is a tough call for you to upset the status quo. Now, talking about the ruling party that has been in Lagos for the past 20 years and counting. So, for your constituency, what's that one thing that resonates with the people when you speak about your aspiration that ultimately you see as the selling point that may give you victory on election day?
I think it's just the honesty. And they see me as someone who is very patriotic about Nigeria and about my people. I think those are the major things. Patriotism. Because if you are patriotic, you will do the needful. I don't see why an elected public office holder will not want to do the needful. People always say that people are aware of what they're meant to be doing. They are aware. But greed will not make some people take some decisions. And the system too, especially the so-called big parties. If you find, no matter how honest you are, if you find yourself in their midst, I think it's not going to be easy as you thought. So what they see in me is just that honesty and patriotic. I'm very passionate about my people.
And you have quite a number of non-indigens living around your constituency. So what's the conversation you're having with these non-Lagosians who are actual also voters who live around Kosofe?
Fortunately for me, I've organized a lot of programs that center on unity, United Nigerians.
United Nigerians?
Yes, several programs. And they know me for that, that when it comes to, I don't differentiate between tribes or religion. I have been a victim of even my own tribe, where it is the other tribe that actually saved me. So when it comes to tribe and religion, I'm a very neutral person. I believe in character, in individuals, not where you come from or the religion you belong to.
So now, for the women, politics is changing now on the continent in Africa. Now we've seen quite a number of women making audacious statements in political fora, and today Africa also has female presidents. The involvement of women in your campaign drive, how elevated has that been since you came on the scene?
I think majority of my campaign team members are women, majority of them, because these are people who are feeling the pains at home. So they just wanted the change. Unlike the men that thought, whether it is bad or not, I will still find a way, but the women are much more interested. And the message we've been passing to them that you just have to train your children so that one day they will gather the way you are gathering. They will also be there for your children. And it has been a very fantastic campaign. These are people you don't even have money to give to. They are just passionate. They just wanted to change.
Abdulwaheed, is amazing that here we are today talking about Nigeria going into one of the elections that many had thought would be the biggest spending, the country would have ever seen. But by and large, I had conversations here on the HQ with Labour Party members, and they also have said that people have started on their own to volunteer and do things without being given money. And you're also saying the same thing about your party. Is it about your party or about some kind of awareness that is building, within Nigerians or among Nigerians that let's do with money in our politics and actually pursue what we think can bind us together and ultimately fix our communities?
I think it's two things. The party and the individual that is contesting elections. No matter how your party is, if the people, your people in the community do not trust you, they will not support you with their personal resources. It is a matter of trust that no, this person that is going there is going to answer the call of the people, not for its personal interest. And I think that's the reason why they are actually supporting. My nomination form was purchased by people, 10,000, 2,000, all my campaign funds. I don't think I've contributed up to 20% of that fund. It is the people, and they see it as their project. I make them see that like this is your project. And one of the reasons why we are doing that, if it is not their project, at the end of the day, they may sell out. But now they know if we are saying that, they're also losing because they've invested a lot. They've invested their energy, they've invested their resources into it.
Let's speak about your presidential candidate, former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, and former minister, here in Nigeria. At what point in time did you think it was an ideal thing to follow the NNPP led by your presidential candidate? Because many ultimately still think that when you speak about honesty, that's a party that hasn't been tested or tried before. So it looks like a gamble going into the election.
But the candidate has been tested.
With the NNPP, because we're looking at the party and not the candidate first. So you think the candidate is what sells the party?
Yes, it is the candidate that sells the party. If Kwankwaso is not in NNPP, nobody will hear about NNPP. If what's the Labour Party is making, the name is making today because Obi is there. So to me, it is the candidate that is the eyes of the party. So its integrity has a long way to go in assisting the success of the party. And that is what he has been doing. And I think every day his rating is going high. I know it's going to be a very difficult one, but it is not impossible.
Have you had any rally, sort of national rally here in Lagos?
Yes, we had one. That is Friday when we had the commissioner of our secretariat that he came. And the turnout was very massive within a 48 hours notice. Very, very massive. Not a rented crowd.
Because talking about rented crowd, some have said your party candidate doesn't have the number. It's not a party that is nationally spread out. That what your party candidate does is to take the same crowd from Kano to everywhere he goes to. If he's moving to Kaduna, the same crowd go with him. If he leaves Kaduna to another state, they move with him. And if he's coming to Lagos, everyone, adorn the party color and they all come to
I totally disagree with that. That is just a lie. Because there is hardly any, quote me today, there is hardly any local government in Nigeria that Kwankwaso does not have this Kwankwasian movement of more than 2,000 members. No local government in this country.
In the country or in northern Nigeria?
In the country, even in Lagos, in Akwa Ibom. Just ask. There is no local government that doesn't have this Kwankwasian movement. Honestly speaking, I was shocked when I see such kind of guys. Just go to my 12, they go almost everywhere. He has his people there. So he has a movement even before contesting under NPP.
When politicians talk about structure, it's something you really, if you look at the 774 local government areas in Nigeria, you look at the two parties that have been tried and tested by the Nigerian people, the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress, you find secretariats in these local governments. Is that the same with the NNPP?
It is not the same because we are talking about, I have to be honest, you'll be talking about funding too. When you don't have the money to provide those secretariats, it is always difficult to have one. But honestly speaking, structures actually have a lot to do in terms of politics. Initially, I always ignore it, but with my contesting for House of Rep alone, quote, in Kosofe, I realized you need a structure to effectively win an election in Nigeria. But the greatest of all is your people as the structures.
And you're going against, a candidate that has been tried and tested, who's the incumbent, also a member of the All Progressives Congress. How hopeful are you?
I'm very, very optimistic I'm winning the election. The incumbent is not contesting. He lost the ticket. So I'm very, very optimistic I'm winning the election. because they see, you go to Kosofe, nobody's talking about that party, they're talking about NPP candidates now. Even the online Nigerian Decide, the online poll, they came out to discredit it because they were losing. When they were winning, they're posting it, but today, I have almost 1,500 and they are still at 750. And the PDP candidate is 150 something.
So Abdulwaheed Odunuga, I'd like to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, still to come, we'll be discussing the All Progressives Congress battles and pretty much more, especially with the media and a section of the Nigerian people, and see how the party's candidate is doing. Kehinde Bamigbeton, Chairman, All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council Media and Publicity Committee for Lagos State, will be here live with us on the HQ. Stay with us.